Hi, welcome to live stream yoga with Louise. Tips and cues to keep you safe and strong on the mat. Today's practice is all about finding middle ground. As always, play where you're comfortable, modify when you need to, rest when you need to. You ready? Let's hit the mat. We're going to set ourselves up, standing towards the top end of the mat, and we're coming into a little balancing tree pose right off the get-go. So we're going to bend the right leg. We're going to place the sole of the right foot on the inseam of the right leg, either low to the floor with your big toe on the floor. Maybe you can slide the foot up a little bit higher and cup your ankle or your calf. Or maybe you'd like to take that foot and place it all the way on the inseam of the right leg. Find the tree line that resonates for you. Bring your hands to prayer and start to center yourself. Cutting out all other distractions and coming into a balancing, centered Virksasana. Then start to grow your prayer hands overhead. Thinking soft, almost steeple-like frame. Hold steady. Maybe you can open up your arms softly to a gentle parallel line so it feels like your hands are stacking over your shoulders. Just pause there. Then take a big breath in, step both legs into parallel. On an exhale, you're going to think soft wood chop, bending your knees, dangling your arms. And then keep those knees soft and bendy and start to morph into a ragdoll sway, side to side, adding some soft rotational side movement. Peel back up. Take a tall stand. We're going to take a lunge step back with the left leg, but we're going to take it off center so that your foot comes off the mat and you're going to reach your arms out in front as a counterbalance. Then back to parallel to do the same on the second side. Big breath in. Exhale, think off lunge step with the right leg. Try to step to the side or off the mat if you can. Back to center. Big breath in. Push your bum back towards the back end of your mat as you come into a half seat. And then see if you can marry that half seat into a tabletop stretch, framing your ears on either side with your head. Then big breath in to stand up nice and tall. Heel toe in. Set up your tree line on the second side. Bending your left knee. Place the foot on the inseam of your right leg in a position that resonates for you. And then bring your hands together in prayer. Center yourself. Look for focus. Look for control. Start to grow your prayer hands overhead. Stopping in a soft, steeple-like frame. Keeping control. Keeping your breath soft and steady. Opening up the hands into a soft parallel line. Holding. Then woodchop throwdown. Morph it into a little ragdoll sway. Come to stillness and ragdoll style, peel back up. Big breath in. Take a lunge step back with the right leg. Take it off center. Reach your arms out in front as a counterbalance. Back to center. Let's take that oblique lunge on the second side. Find your way back to center. Big breath in. Little half seat bum push back. Morph it into a tabletop fold, framing your ears. Then find your way from here into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat with your hands stacking directly underneath your shoulders. Long stretch through the neck and the spine. Take a big breath in, keeping this long stretchy line through the neck and the spine, and peek over the left shoulder, pausing here to breathe into the right side of your ribs. Keep that peek over your left shoulder and start to extend the left leg, maybe tucking your toes under and just taking a little stretch here. And then thinking about how you can morph your current position into a modified extended side plank. Focus on your bent leg. Start to bring your right foot away from the midline. Start to pivot towards the open side of your body and think bowling action on the left arm to set up a gentle extended side plank stretch. Opening up the left side of your ribs, breathing into it, reaching the tips of your left fingertips as long as they will go. Morph your way from here back into your 4-point kneeling position on the mat. Slide your right arm out. Lift it up. And then start to tap gently to the mat. End in the lift, hold it. Slide your left leg back. Start to tap the left leg. End in the tabletop line, taking a long stretch through the left leg and the right arm. Then bend your floating back leg. You can tip the weight back if you need to reach opposite hand to foot, maybe coming into a tiger stretch and thinking cow-like frame through the back. So you're thinking hollow back as you try to bind to that foot. Then reground, drape your arms on the mat, coming into a little puppy stretch, thinking chin and chest skimming to look just off the front of your mat, lower belly quite close to the tops of your thighs and your bum pumped up. Drag your way onto the belly, sliding both arms out in front and preparing for a little cobra line. We'll keep the arms long and extended. Find a little marble underneath your nose, start to roll it away and peel up into a small chest lift with 3, 2 or 1 rib still connected to the mat. Maybe you can hold this chest lift in place. Maybe you can add a double leg lift. Then relax the legs, start to release your cobra line, start to slide the arms back in, bringing them alongside your body towards the lower end of the rib cage. We're coming into a swan hold. Pretend that you've got a little marble underneath your nose. Start to roll it away with the tip of your nose, either ending in a small cobra or extending fully through the arms so that you find yourself resting on your kneecaps and the palms of your hands. Long swan-like stretch through the neck, through the spine. Then press back into child, and as you do so, keep the legs in parallel and see if you can bring the two hands together, making almost a little tripod frame with your elbow points and your fisted hands. Stay here or find your way into a modified hair hybrid by rocking the weight forward so that you're coming into a half kneel, hovering your head just above your arm line. You're pressing off your forearms and you're allowing for a long stretch through the neck without adding any pressure on the crown. Keeping your belly button softly pulled into center and pressing away mindfully from the mat the whole time. And then back to child pose, but this time draping the arms either alongside the body or resting your forearms on your back and holding onto the forearms to add a little bit of pressure, a little bit more stretch into the back. Ease your way from here back into a 4-point kneeling frame on the mat. Set up that long tabletop stretch through the neck and the spine. Keep that long stretch through the neck and the spine. Peek over the right shoulder. Breathe into the open side of your ribs. Keep that peak over the right shoulder and start to extend the right leg, maybe a little toe tuck under, or maybe you would like to just press into the tops of your feet. Then focus on your bent leg. Start to draw the foot of that bent leg away from the midline. Start to think bowling action on your right arm and find your way into a modified, extended side plank. Breathe. Stretch into the right side of your ribs. Find your way back to 4-point kneeling from here. Square up. Slide your left arm out and up. And begin to tap a few times to the mat. Then still the arm, slide your right leg out and up. Tap your right foot a few times to the mat. Come back to your long tabletop stretch, opposite arm and leg. Then bend your floating back leg, reach opposite hand to foot, coming into a little tiger stretch. Think crescent or hollow back. We're going to release to a puppy stretch from here, draping your arms on the mat, thinking chin and chest skimming just off the front of your mat. Belly button pulled in, one looking up to the sky. Drag it forward onto your belly, extend or drape the arms long and lengthened on your mat as you prepare for a cobra chest lift. Peel up into the chest lift height that works for you, lock it in. Maybe pressing gently into your palms, and then see if you can add a double leg lift. Then relax the legs to the floor, peel back down from your chest lift and start to bend the elbows, bringing your palms alongside the lower end of your rib cage. We're going to press up into either a small modified cobra or a full swan with the arms fully extended, resting on your kneecaps and the palms of your hands. Press back into child from here. As you relax your elbows, bring the two palms together, making a little fist. Relaxing back into child. Thinking forward to floor. Stay here or find your way into a modified hair pose, Shashanka, by pressing off your forearms, thinking modified 4-point kneel, with your neckline and your head dangling like a little barrel over your fisted hands. Belly button gently pulled into center. Then press back bum to heel, coming into child, this time arms draped alongside the body or resting your forearms on your back, holding onto the forearms, adding the weight in your arms to stretch out that back just a little bit more. Then peel up from here into a nice tall kneel and take a small lunge step forward with your left leg, maybe just pressing off that thigh. Then let's see if we can come into a modified, think of it as a short side angle from here. So focus on that back leg. Start to bring the back foot across the midline, either resting on your lead thigh or thinking palm to floor, and then opening up the top arm into a gentle T-like frame. Use those arms to add resistance, so press out with the bottom arm, squeeze in with the bottom knee. Stay here or maybe play pretzel style by relaxing your bottom elbow, tucking it through the legs, and maybe bringing the two hands together in a bear-like grip behind your back, looking over that top shoulder and keeping that belly button pulled into center. Then unravel to bring both hands to the inside of the lead leg. Sweep it back, readjusting to find a 4-point kneel. Tuck your toes under, pull your knees off the floor and hold it there in a little bear hold. Relax your knees to the floor, keep your toes tucked under, walk your hands back towards your knees, interlacing the hands, making a little basket, throwing the weight of your head into your basket and bumping your hips forward over your knees, coming into a modified camel stretch. Then think 4-point kneel, coming into a down dog frame and playing with a generous bend and extend through the knees. Every time you extend, you try to drop and ground through those heels. Maybe holding with an extended leg line for a moment. Stretching arms, legs, spine. Lead your way back to a tall kneel. And step forward with the left leg coming into a low lunge line, maybe pressing off that lead thigh and just finding your low lunge. Then let's set up our modified short side angle from here. Focus on the back leg, float the foot in and across the midline, resting your lead elbow on your lead thigh or relaxing palm to floor and finding a T-frame arm. Use resistance on that front leg and arm. Maybe you'd like to soften the bottom arm, tuck it through the legs, see if you can find your way into a bind. Then unravel and place both of your hands on the inside of the lead leg. Swing it back, find your way back into 4-point kneel, tuck your toes under, lift your knees off the floor and hold with that long tabletop line through the neck and the spine with your belly button firmly pulled into center. Then release your knees to the floor. Find your way to a tall kneel with your shoulders, hips, and knees stacked. Interlace your hands, make a little basket behind your head. Then fall the weight of your head into your hands, bump your hips forward over your knees and come into a beautiful supported camel stretch. Then release your camel. Find your way from here into a down dog and begin to generously bend and extend through the knees. Trying to anchor your feet every time you find yourself in the extended leg line. Maybe holding that down dog frame. We're going to find our way from this down dog frame into a modified, you can think of it as a plie squat. So we're going to step wide with the right leg to the outside of the right hand, splaying the foot out. We're going to replicate on the left, and we're going to peel up into a little thigh hang. Maybe just rocking the weight back and forth, settling in. Take a big breath in, out and exhale, drop your right shoulder, make it heavy to the floor. Look over the left shoulder. Then we're going to use this hanging position to find a high lizard lunge. You're going to keep your right foot where it is. You're going to relax your right arm and your left arm to the floor. And you're going to take a step back, but you're going to step that left leg in so that if you look down towards the big toe of that back foot, it's almost framing your nose on the left. You're going to keep that lizard lunge on the right. You're going to lean forward slightly into the wrists. Then brace your core and step the right leg back so that you're in a narrow plank line with the 2 feet squeezing together on the midline. And if you look down, your big toes should almost feel like they're framing the line of your nose. Keep those toes tucked under, relax your knees to the floor. Keep the narrow line, walk your hands back towards your legs. Take the L frame between your index finger and thumb. Hook it around your waist and bump your hips forward over your knees, coming into a narrow camel Ustrasana. Keep the knees and the feet squeezing together around the midline as you think narrow 4-point kneel. And then translate your narrow 4-point kneel into a narrow down dog. Think heel lifts. Shoot for roughly 5, and then try to end with your heels anchored to the floor and quite an intense stretch, keeping those 2 feet together along the midline. Then relax knees to floor. Step your feet wide, coming back into that mid squat. Finding your hand position, maybe playing with it. And center aligning. Big breath in. Drop your left shoulder, looking over the right and pausing here for a moment. Thinking about how you're going to use this frame to find your high lizard lunge. Dropping your left arm and your right arm to the floor, step your right leg back, but angle the foot in towards the midline. Pause here in your high lizard lunge. Step the left leg back, set up a narrow plank, squeezing the 2 feet together, strong through the arms, strong through the abs, strong through the legs. Keep that narrow stance, drop your knees to the floor, keep your toes tucked under. Interlace your hand, no, sorry, use the L frame between your index finger and thumb to support the lower back as you come into a narrow camel. Ease your way from here into a narrow 4-point kneel and then translate that into a narrow down dog. Maybe adding a few heel lifts. Keep that narrow leg line and see if you can drop an anchor through the heels. See if you can keep that narrow leg line as you drop into a 4-point kneel. Release your feet. Think narrow child push back. Looking for a little bit of compression into your belly. Then think 4-point kneel with a bump into your wrists. Maybe you can bring the knees off the floor. Then relax them back to the floor and press back into child. Keeping those legs narrow along the middle. Back to 4-point kneel with a little bump into your wrists. Then brace the core, bring the knees off the floor. Back to child. Ease your way to 4-point kneeling. Bump forward into your wrists. Modify up dog by bringing those knees off the floor, pressing into the tops of our feet. We're going to do this twice more. Then relax back into child. If you're feeling the wrists, drop your elbows and lift your hands. Then release. Back to our narrow 4-point kneel with a bump into the wrists. And then we lifted the knees off the mat. Pressing into the tops of our feet. Last time, let's press back into child. Looking for that compression into the lower belly. Then narrow 4-point kneel. Lean forward into the wrists. Knees off the floor, abs strong. Keep the narrow leg line if you can, or bring your legs into parallel if you need to, and come back into a tall kneel, walking your hands back towards your legs. Sweep both arms overhead. Bend your right elbow, place the palm between the two shoulders. Reach for your right elbow with your left fingers and just pull in towards the midline, nodding chin to chest. Stay here or take an underhand grip, coming into a modified cow face, pulling one set of fingertips up and the other set of fingertips down. So a little bind through the fingertips, a little bear like bind, bear grip. Then release the arms. Big breath in to float both overhead. Keep your collar line soft and relaxed. Bend the left elbow, place the hand between the two shoulders. Reach for your left elbow with the right fingertips and tug into center, feeling that beautiful stretch into the tricep, keeping your chin relaxed towards your chest. Stay here or take an underhand grip with the right hand coming into a little bear hold, pulling up with the top hand, pulling down with the bottom hand. We're going to find our way from here into a squat line. It could be a midway squat or a deep squat. So when you're ready, unbind your hands, maybe just taking a moment to release the shoulders. And then step the left leg out, step the right leg out, Coming into your squat, maybe placing your fingertips on the mat, maybe shifting your body weight, shifting your heels, readjusting your feet, and finding the optimum width that works for you, and then settling in. Maybe taking your hands wide on the mat, using your triceps to press open through the groin. Give yourself 20 to 30 seconds here, just taking that nice deep seat. And if you need to, you can take a cushion or a bolster or a block and place it underneath your bottom, using it as a stool. From this deep squat line, we're going to find our way into Thunderbolt, Vajrasana. So you're going to step back. Think of that narrow kneeling position, so knees and feet together, and then sitting back and bum to heel. Allowing for a neutral spine and just giving yourself a few moments here, conditioning into the ankles and the tops of your feet. From here, we're going to find an off-center seat on the right. You could place a block or a bolster on the right side of your feet and then just slip off your feet and onto your block, or off your feet and onto the floor, sweeping both hands to the left to grab for the outside of your ankle and the outside of your thigh, and just finding a tall stretch through the spine once you've found that grasp. Then maybe keeping the grasp, but looking in the opposite direction, keeping your chin line as parallel to the floor as you can. Maybe you'd like to even sweep the right arm behind you and reach for your bicep on the left. Unbind the hands. We're going to sit back on the right foot and we're going to sweep the left leg out in front. If you need to, you can put a block alongside you and sit your bottom into the block. We're going to take a small forward fold here, maybe just fingers to floor, or you could do hands to feet, hands to toes. You can use a block or a strap if you need to modify. We're going to keep that seat on the right foot and we're going to see if we can tuck the left leg into a half lotus line. Bend the knee, start to bring the left heel to the inside of the right hip bone, resting it on the top of your right thigh, taking a moment to just position yourself. Take a big breath in and then we're going to twist opposite hand to hip and you're going to twist towards your lead leg. Holding that little twist through the trunk, looking over the right shoulder. Give yourself at least 2 or 3 more breaths here. Then unravel your twist and take a lunge step forward with your left leg, low lunge. We're going to lean forward, hands to floor, maybe bringing the back foot off the floor. Maybe you can reach opposite hand to foot. Maybe you can find your way up to reach for the outside of the lead thigh, taking a soft twist here, grabbing in with the hand, resisting with the knee. If binding to the back foot is not an option, relax that foot and just grab with both hands for the outside of your lead thigh. And you can experiment with that back foot. You can either relax the whole quad and think bum to heel, or maybe you're feeling like kicking the foot into your hand. Maybe you'd like to try both. Unravel, Find your way back into that narrow thunderbolt seat. Feet and knees together, sitting back and just giving yourself a moment in a neutral spine with your hands relaxed towards your lap. Then placing your block or your bolster or your pillow on the left if you need it. We're going to scooch off our feet and sit onto the mat on the left side of our left foot. We're going to sweep our arms right. So reach for the outside of the right leg. Hold. Or maybe take your gaze in the opposite direction. Maybe even sweeping the left arm behind you. Seeing if you can tuck the fingertips behind you and reach with your fingertips for the right bicep. So finding a little bind behind and to the side. Bhadrasana 2, or Bhadrasana 1, sorry. We're coming into Bhadrasana 2 just now. Undoing the little bind, slipping back onto the left foot, sliding the right foot out in front, and maybe taking a little forward. Just think of taking a gentle bow, trying to find a seat as best you can on that back left foot. Then sit up nice and tall, seeing if you can keep that seat and tuck into the half lotus line, taking a moment to find your seat. Once you're comfortably situated, you're going to rotate towards your lead leg. You're going to grab opposite hand to hip, looking over that back shoulder and pausing here in your little detoxifying twist. Then low lunge, step forward from here. Reaching opposite hand to foot, if you can, peeling up, looking for balance. Hooking your left hand to the outside of your right knee. And for that bind, you can either kick the foot into your hand or you can relax and then bum to heel. You can even play between the two, so just experiment. Then from here, we're going to unravel and you're going to pick a seat that works for you, that you can hold without fidgeting. I'm coming back into the narrow thunderbolt and we're going to end off with some breath work. You're going to keep your left arm relaxed. You're going to take your right hand, middle and index finger comes to the third eye. You're going to use your thumb to control the opening and closing of your right nostril, and you're going to use the ring finger to control the open and the close of your left nostril. All right, close your eyes. Take your focus in. We're going to begin with some right nostril breath. So you're going to close your left nostril. You're going to take a deep inhale right. Then you're going to close right and you're going to exhale left. You're going to keep rinsing and repeating. Only inhaling right and only exhaling left. Building up a little bit of heat energy with this Pingala or sun breath. Maybe closing your eyes, cutting out all physical distractions and just focusing on that breath pattern. And let's start to change the breath. Close your right nostril and take a big inhale left. Then close left and exhale right. Switching up the breath pattern, so now you're only inhaling through the left nostril. and you're only exhaling through the right. So switching now and stoking into the Ida or moon breath, stoking into our parasympathetic nervous system, calming and rejuvenating. Then beginning to play between the two breath patterns. Take big inhale left, close the left nostril, exhale right. Then inhale right, close it, exhale left. Inhale left, close it, exhale right. Then inhale right, close it, exhale left. Starting to find an alternating nostril breath, anulung vilung. Trying to equalize the energy between the right and the left side of the body, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Finding a gentle inhale and exhale rhythm that works for you. Keeping your eyes closed and your focus inward. Keep that breath soft and relaxed. We're not adding in retention of the breath today. We're just playing with the inhale and the exhale. Puraka Rechaka. Make this your last round of your modified alternate nostril breathing. Then relax your hands, maybe flipping them palm up, taking a few recovery breaths. And then keeping your eyes closed and your focus inward, bring your hands to prayer mudra in front of your heart, symbolically demonstrating that harmony between the left and the right side of your body. And think about our key words for today's practice, which was middle ground. Balance in all things. Keep striving for middle ground, that often elusive, happy medium between light and dark, push and pull, work and rest, busy and quiet. Shanti to you. Thank you so much for coming out and looking for middle ground with me today. Till next time, keep it light.